he wasn't with us. Okay, well, that's the first I heard of that.
For life.
Good morning. Welcome to my internet just went out. Welcome to the fire committee meeting for June 9th, 2026. We will call the meeting to order. Are there any declarations, pecuniary interests?
None known.
Okay. Will you scroll down for me, Jim?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, we can circulate the prior meetings minutes. Were there any questions about those?
Do you want this paper?
It's back up. Thank you. I appreciate it. Did you have any questions about the
No.
meeting minutes?
No.
Thank you. Okay, we can move on to, do we have ongoing tasks carried
Yep.
forward? from last month?
I don't believe there's anything pertaining to the fire
Right,
department.
for fire, through this.
Everybody-
No, there wasn't.
Whoa.
On the
No,
list of issues. Okay,
no fire.
then we can move on to the Joint Health and Safety Committee inspection sheets for the fire hall.
They were excellent.
Excellent, thank you.
Nothing to note.
All right, thank you. On to new business, fire monthly report for May 2026.
Okay. Well, we'll start with our volunteers. Right now, we're sitting at 26 available responders. We do have 4 recruits in training right now. And we also just onboarded a new young fella last night. So we'll be getting them through their recruitment training, and then eventually they'll be responding. So as far as training goes, training's going well. I don't know if you want any clarification on the training that's being done. Kind of the same stuff we do every year. This time we get into the portable pumps. We do our marina locations. We do some, we have been doing some scenarios at the wastewater treatment plant. So Jay's been allowing us to go onto his property and utilize his buildings. So we've done it last month, and then we actually did some last night. So he gives us access to the buildings, and it's just a new perspective for our volunteers that haven't spent much time there, to see, you know, some of the other hazards that they might encounter in our community. Call wise, not a whole lot of calls. Calls are down a little bit again, so which is a good thing. Unless you ask the guys, then it's not a good thing, but so call wise, nothing too crazy. We have had a couple of calls for service on the water already, so. Community relations, we did the Learn to Fish Day with the Blue Water Anglers. That's an annual event for us. It's a well-organized event. They do groups of between 10 and 15 every 20 minutes. So we have a captive audience. So the group comes to us, we do some pub ed, and we do some, you know, showing them the trucks and the gear, and then they go on to the next vendor and same thing. So it's a pretty well organized event. This Mrs. Roper's Car Wash, I don't know if you've ever heard of Mrs. Roper's group. It's kind of like a younger version of the Red Hats. They're charity-based organization, and she had called, actually she had dropped by the fire hall and she dropped off a flyer for a charity car wash that they were doing. And then the Friday night before the car wash, she had left a message and she was short on volunteers. So we did have enough volunteers on the Learn to Fish Day that we were able to break 4 guys away, and we went over and washed cars for a couple hours. So it was good. It was a good event. The guys had lots of fun. The ladies really appreciated it, so that was good. Fire safety inspections. We didn't actually do any documented fire inspections, but we were at Sarnia Golf. We did consult with them regarding a fire alarm panel failure that they had in the repair, that they're all back up and running and what the requirements were under the fire code. We did do some consulting regarding an upcoming fire drill that they were planning. We were also over to the daycare a number of times, talking about some of the items that they had. They were looking at putting some bars on the windows and moving some toddlers to the basement for their programming. So we talked to them about their fire safety planning and how that looked for us. And we were over to the arena a number of times with some of the events that they had, and the age friendly one comes to mind. Because there was a lot of people in the arena that day.
2,200.
Yeah, it was a big event.
I got the number yesterday in a
Did you?
meeting.
Yeah. And then we've been working with St. Clair Child and Youth. They've just been doing some key upgrades for their building. So access for us and how that looks and putting new keys in the key box and so on and so forth. That's it for the fire safety stuff. And then the emergency management stuff, I'll let Claudio talk about.
Yeah, so the bases EPEM day was May 9th. Again, that was at Hampton College. Second year there. From all accounts, it was another successful year, and it's building on the year previous. I said it a few times. The previous iteration of this was Clearwater Arena, dropping school kids off there, smash and grab, and then, you know, there wasn't much
Engagement.
contact. Yeah, exactly. Where I find I was there for a few hours in the afternoon with the county kiosk there. People that were coming by were genuinely interested in what we were having to say, because they're there, they're keen on the safety side of it. A lot of them had the 72-hour kits, a lot of them had all the stuff we preach about, so it was good having that.
Well, it was a Saturday, not a school day.
Exactly, yeah.
So that they went there specifically.
And they did a really good job of making it a family friendly event, with rides, face painting, stuff like that, and obviously the fire trucks and the lights and all that stuff. So another good year for the EP day. I'm assuming they're gonna do it again next year, same spot and same format. So last week was our SADS exercise here in the village, but in May, there's a lot of time spent on planning that exercise. So a lot of coordination with Trevor at bases on just some of the logistics of setting up here in the village and making the exercise the success that we believe it was. I know it didn't happen in May, but the exercise from our perspective was fairly successful. Lots of good learnings from the fire department side, and then we'll have our debrief tomorrow on the village exercise side, but I think overall it was a very good event overall. In all that mix, the bi-monthly basis EM committee meeting happened as well. So Trevor was up to his ears in alligators there trying to get things coordinated, but he did a good job of juggling all that, and we still maintained schedule for the EM committee side of the basis program. And then our group, the village emergency control group, did our annual training during May as well. So as we know, that training is part of our compliance submission at the end of the year to make sure that we're following all the requirements of the provincial guidelines and acts and regulations. So that part's crossed off our list, and the exercise is crossed off our list. So we're getting close to being able to submit compliance. The last part will be at the end of the year when we just review all of our public education parts of it, which is good. With the election, it kind of, you know, you don't want to wait too long to have things going on because you're not sure what's going to happen. So I'm glad that we're able to get all that stuff done first half of the year.
Did you, I forget if it was Trevor was going to send us the link to the video?
We got only pictures. Pictures are from inside the community hall. We haven't seen anything from the scene yet.
He said he would send us the link.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen
I
that.
asked Richard.
It was Richard that was gonna send the.
Yeah, I've asked
Yeah.
Richard. He said he was gonna try to have it downloaded.
Okay.
Trevor or Tracy was able to give us a few pictures.
Okay,
I think there's more to come, but
Yeah. There was definitely at least two or three photographers on scene that whole morning
yeah,
running around snapping pictures of her trying to not spray them with hoses, but so there's lots of
yeah, we
action shots.
said we weren't able to watch it live,
Yeah.
and he said, I'll send you the link,
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
I
so
mean, it'd be good to see that video
Yeah.
actually from our own
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
too, but to give the group I should follow up today and see if I can get
Yeah.
that for tomorrow's meeting.
yeah. I know like the pictures that we do have, we can either share them today or we can do it tomorrow. It might be more appropriate to do it tomorrow.
For what are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're doing the
Oh, the debrief.
The
Yeah,
debrief.
sorry.
So we can do it at the debrief if you want versus doing it here.
We can
Yeah.
show them today, but then
Okay,
show them
yeah.
again. Like, I've got them queued up to take a look
Okay.
at them after the meeting. Flip through 'em.
Yeah. It's,
I think,
Yeah.
Claudio, next year, we should try and plan our emergency, especially the training really early in the year, because potentially we might have new counselors. So I think if we can try and plan it and do it in January, February, or March,
Yep.
just to
yeah,
at least the training part, maybe not the exercise,
Yeah.
but
there is, so in addition to what we do to meet our compliance, there is like a SEOW, Senior Elected Official Workshop
oh,
training
okay.
that I can do. That kind of indoctrinates new
Mhm.
council
One we
members
went
or
to
staff to the
Wyoming.
EM program, so
And what does that training look like? Is it like a 1-day program? or
it's an hour long.
An hour.
It reviews a lot of the stuff we reviewed in our meeting too, so yeah, I can
That'd be great.
integrate that
Okay.
early on in the year. I think it's a good idea to make sure that whoever it is up to speed. And
We could even maybe do it, like, we'll be having some sort of counselor training orientation package, like, the election's in October. We might even do it late October, early November.
Yep.
For, I think it'd be good training for all the counselors, but specifically for any new, like Ariana, you've probably never saw it because you came on a bit later.
Yep.
So,
All the
Yeah.
training.
yeah,
Yeah, that's no problem. So let me know
So-
when we can do it.
okay.
I'll set it up and.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how would
Sorry,
that
you guys
happen.
have been great at keeping me up to speed.
I thought, how would that have happened? But I forgot. Can I just step back for a minute? I just had a question, or I can wait till we're finished. About your numbers.
Yep.
So when you said like there's 26 volunteers and then 4 in training.
Yep.
And 1 new recruit.
Yep.
Is that 26 plus 5?
It will be
Or
about,
the 4 part of the 26?
no, it's plus.
Good,
Yep.
good. That puts us over the 30 again. That
Yeah,
How,
It's been a
how do you
comfortable number.
feel about that? Do you feel like it's like you're happy with where you're sitting at? Or,
30 is a good number for us.
It's pretty consistently been always around
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, it's been around the 30 mark.
and do you
We
have a
have-
good idea of like, the young, or the newer people who maybe are coming on for a shorter period of time, in your opinion? And like, do you have an idea of how many people you think you might lose in the next little while? Like,
We've got a lot of us.
obviously, there's many moving parts, but.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, but there's a large, I wouldn't say a large, yeah, there's a fairly large number of our staff that are aspiring.
Mhm.
So the numbers, depending on who's hiring in the province and where
Mhm.
they're going, yeah, we stand to lose 4 or 5 fairly easily.
And when you're sitting at a number that you're comfortable with
Mhm.
in terms of your volunteers right now.
Yeah.
But you know that, are you still recruiting throughout? Like,
If-
when you don't feel that you need to necessarily bring more people on?
It depends on the candidate, so we're always struggling to find people in the village. We have a lot of people that want to come on the department, that are aspiring, that want to find full-time fire jobs. If we have somebody that lives in the village, which is ideal for us, then we look at them a lot closer. I mean, we get a lot of applications from, outside our area, which we feel is too far away. And there's a lot of good candidates, but they're just too far away for us to bring them on, because what happens is, they start out strong. And then they start to wean off because they don't make the trucks and they don't get the experience that they were hoping to get. And then they're taking training money away from the other volunteers. So,
And you wouldn't be doing them that great of a service,
well, we're
giving
not,
them that opportunity if it was going to end up something like that.
yeah, and the value for us as the village, it's not there, so.
So active recruitment within reason, within the village,
within
kind of
reason, yeah.
having conversations constantly with people to.
Yeah,
drum
like-
up,
We're always taking
Yes.
applications, like we don't do we did a little bit of a push here a couple of months
Mhm.
ago to get more applicants in. But we're always constantly taking resumes.
and that push was kind of the reason for my question, just because. I mean, we ended up with significantly less than we would have liked to be sitting at that point, and recruiting so many people at once is a challenge.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that you're still having those conversations
Yeah.
in the village and nearby.
Yeah.
So that when you do need people, you have an idea of who's gonna
Who's
be a right
around.
fit already.
We would love to have more people in the village applying. But it's just the reality of the demographic, and so.
Are there people in the village that the demographic issue, so do you see a way of kind of getting them on board with like the community aspect of that, so that maybe they would be something that they'd be interested in
We've
in the
been
future?
trying to target a number of people that we feel that would be good, you
Mhm.
know, they're younger. You know, we feel that they're good, you know, they're brought up in Point Edward, and
We know a lot about them when they.
and we know a lot about them, and we feel that they would be a good fit, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet,
Yeah.
you know, so.
At our parent council meeting last week at Bridgeview.
Yep.
We discussed a few things about having people from the community come in to teach like a class to specific classrooms that is something outside of what that teacher has an area of expertise in, like having bring your parent to work day, and your parent does something specific and then they teach the class about that.
Yeah.
You're already going into the school frequently.
Yep.
I think maybe it would be really cool to see any firefighter even from our village go in and talk to them about what it looks like to work as a firefighter, not just fire safety, but
Yep.
you know,
well-
the career path kind of idea for the
Yeah.
older kids, not
The older kids, yeah.
not like grade 1, 2, 3.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you could, it doesn't hurt to start early, it'd be a different
Yeah.
conversation, I'm
Yeah.
sure, but more, I mean, next. So there's probably going to be a couple of classes that would fit into that grouping, like 2 classes maybe.
Yeah.
But I could see that being valuable just to, those kids live in the village and they may live in the village their whole lives. A lot of kids don't know what they want to do when they grow up until someone tells them what they do and they go, wow, that's
Yeah.
cool, I want to do that.
I mean, we actually have a really good candidate that, I mean, we could certainly go in there as well, but some of the younger kids don't want to listen to old guys, but we have a really good candidate that kind of grew up in the village, Gavin Burgess.
Yeah,
So he grew
well,
up
he likes doing that too.
and he likes doing that, and you know, he's Bridgeview alumni, and you know, so he would be a good candidate, and we would work along with him. I'll ask him if he'd be interested in that.
Ask him if he is, ask him to connect with me.
Yeah,
He
I
can
think
get-
he would be. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he
and
would.
we can work on something.
Yep.
If
We-
not, we.
If not, we will. Yeah.
Yeah.
They love when you guys come in. They don't see you.
Assuming
for the
that the city
record.
agrees to it,
They,
right?
they,
She
yeah,
has.
well, we didn't talk about this specifically, but
Okay.
this is perfectly in line with
Yeah.
that. We talked about the process, so.
They'd like to see us until we beat them in the serial challenge.
And I think actually, on that note, it would be great to see other village staff.
I've been in there once.
Yeah,
They invited me and I've never been invited
no,
back.
so part of what we talked about was they don't invite people. There's
The teacher invited me.
Yeah, and occasionally a teacher will, but
Yeah.
there's just so much
Yeah.
on their plate that's out of their mind, but anytime anybody asks, they're all over it, cause it's great for
Yeah,
them.
Mr. Ballinoff, and now he's at King George.
But I can definitely act as a go-between there as well to set some of those things up. Municipal
Well, I
jobs
explained about-
are one of those things that
I
there's.
explained about county council
Mhm,
and our structure, and they like, oh, I didn't know anything like that, you know,
Yeah.
we're 2-tier and like, anyway.
yeah, and that gives them kind of an idea of what they can do. When they grow up.
Mhm.
Without having to leave their community necessarily. But a lot of the time, these kids don't know what these jobs are or that they're out there. So fire department would be great, but I would like to see some others too.
Arena. Public
Mhm.
Works, all that,
Like-
the whole gamut.
And we have municipal retention issues are across the board, so we can.
The Lambton College program is still intact, right? I'm just asking the question because so much of the programs have been dropped.
Yes, it is.
So that fire safety or fire technology is fine?
Yep.
Okay, because that's where we get a lot of our
Mhm.
recruits.
It's the industrial side is.
And that's
is-
just, that's what it was, that they took the
Mhm.
hit.
Yeah, so right now they're in kind of in limbo on where their future looks.
So that's the fire school?
That's the fire school. Hopefully there'll be a turn in that.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I don't, that's a Trevor basis
Okay,
question kind of thing.
okay,
But I feel that, you know, they don't want to see the industrial school go by the wayside.
there was a lot of money invested
I
in
mean,
that.
it started here, back in the '70s,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot of, you know, really good training that's happened on the industrial side as well. So hopefully they'll turn that around, and maybe industry, I'm not even sure how much involvement industry has, but in it, but I think if they get involved,
I
maybe
know.
they can turn it around.
A lot of industry leaders used to sit on the board of that area, but
Yeah.
I don't know, today I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what that looks like, but hopefully
Yeah.
they can turn that around and, you know, get that back up to where it's acceptable levels. Claudia, while you're there, do you want to talk about the 402 summer meeting,
Yeah,
being that you went to it?
sure. And just before that, I just want to go back for a second, back to the exercise last week. I just want to put a thank you out to Jay Van Clinken for agreeing to kind of step in and help out in the EOC with you guys. It's nice to
Yeah.
do that, wealth of knowledge, and I didn't think he'd ever say no, but I knew he
No.
would say yes, but it was nice to have him there, so.
It certainly was.
Put that
Yeah.
on the record there.
Yeah, he's great.
Um. So the summer kickoff meeting,
That was the 402 one.
oh yeah, okay, so the 402 stakeholders. Um. That incorporates EMS, OPP, all the, or not all, most of the county, public works managers are there. MTO's there, and it's just discussion on, overall road projects for the upcoming year. Not a lot on the 402 itself, besides some minor repairs on some sections. But there is quite a bit of work happening in the county, which doesn't directly affect us. But this has been going on for a few years now. Jason Cole kind of
Yeah.
oversees it, and it's actually a really good chance to ask questions of different municipalities, but also, you know, MTO directly and get some feedback. Mike Nesdali was there with me representing the Village Public Works, but yeah, nothing that I can think of as of note that'll affect us directly, other than some, lighting upgrades approaching the bridge on our portion of the 402, but the lights are there,
Yeah,
copper's gone.
Hmm,
I'm trying to find a way to do it so that they can't see the copper again, basically, which is the message there, which is insane to me that
Yeah.
there's step of copper off a highway light standard, but yes, otherwise nothing really standing for us here locally.
Perfect. As far as the building goes, interior wise, we just had our third party, annual fire inspection, for the fire extinguishers completed. We had a number of them that needed, H testing and maintenance on them, so. And as far as the exterior goes, we're having some issues with, both our overhead doors. They're 1999 vintage. So we did have a contractor in, the repairs were done on the safety mechanisms on the bottom of the doors. That's what was giving us the problems. Without getting too technical, there's two dissimilar metals in there that the heat affects. And it closes the circuit, so the doors would only come down so far and then they go back up. So we had to have those changed over. And it's just, one of those things, because they're old. And then I'm in the process of obtaining quotes for the, possible exterior upgrades that we talked about at the last committee meeting. I have some quotes, but I don't have everything. I don't have the costing for new overhead doors. I do have some costing for painting. I do have some costing for the sign removal, and reinstallation, because the painting can't be done with the signage that's up there while it's on the building. They can't paint around it. It's too much, adds too much cost to it. And then, yeah, just waiting on a few other quotes and then I can put it together and present it. I think that's it for the building. Vehicle wise, so all the vehicles are in working order. We did, take Marine 2, we did winterize it, clean it up and launch it for the season. So it's docked in the same location, as it has been in years past. We would like to explore moving the boat to a different area in the marina. But that'll come with an additional cost. So been trying to connect with the marina owner to see what that would look like. So I can come back with a solution for that.
What is the reason for wanting to move?
The biggest reason is where we are located now. We're kind of around the corner. So when we get tasked with an emergency, we go there, get on the boat, and then we have to kind of putt out through the marina. Which gives our guys time to get, situated and ready, but at the same time, we have to be very vigilant of going through there at I don't want to say a snail's pace, but we can't go through there very fast because there's $1 million boats all around there. So you're not going to be very happy if we go flying out of there and then Jim gets a phone call from an angry boat owner saying, we just did $25,000 to a damage to a boat. So we have to be very vigilant when we leave there. What we'd like to do is talk to the marina owner and see if we can move out to where Point SAR is located. That gives us a straight shot right out the channel. We still have to go out, reasonably, not slow, but we want to respond with conviction, but not do any damage to anybody's boat. But because of the water levels and where they are right now, the dock is too high, so we would have to add a second tier to that dock. And we've done some of our own with our own staff looking at it, and we think, for a couple of $1,000 with us looking at doing it, we might be able to make that happen. But we have to get permission for us to go there from the marine owner, and we have to get permission to spend that kind of money. Now, whether it's this year or next year, or, that could be a budget item too, but we'd like to talk about that.
You guys can just do anything by yourselves.
Well, we
can
could
do
try. We could try. So
Um,
that's what we'd like to do in the future.
do we pay a cost for renting that dock?
Well, and that's the other thing. So there's been years where we have paid, and there's years where the marine owner, Mr. Brown, has basically comped it to
That's
us.
what I thought.
So I've actually tried a number of times to connect with Mr. Brown, and I think he's a busy man. And I've been down there a number of times and haven't seen his truck available, so I could talk to Karen, yeah. So
Would Jane have that information?
We have his number.
Jim
Jim
says he's got it, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the number, how much we pay for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, as far as the costing.
Just sure.
I know. The yacht club gives up a free berth for some other organization, so I was expecting ours was free, but I never thought about it before. Like the Coast Guard has a spot. The yacht club.
Sounds like a combination.
Mhm.
I mean, he's been really good to us in the
Yeah.
past. So. And then of course our corrosion on Rescue 3, the planning around that needs to happen at some point. Because it's such a huge ordeal for us, because we lose the truck, I want to make sure that when it happens, that the vendor is 100% ready to pull the trigger on it. Because I don't want the truck sitting in somebody's yard for a week and then it takes another week to get fixed, and then we can't afford to have the truck down for that long. And yes, the corrosion is it's not right, but it doesn't affect how the truck performs right now. So we will get that done at some point. Moving on to the health and safety, we did our supervisor inspections with no issues identified. The joint did their walkthrough and inspections, and they didn't identify anything either. And then we did complete the training that was set out by our health and safety coordinator. Security front, no issues to report on the security side. Capital budgets, I have no expenditures in the past month, but the bunker gear and equipment orders will be taking place very shortly. We did have the vendor in to measure up some of our people for bunker gear just over a week ago. So I'll be getting that order together. And then we did actually spend some money in capital, and it came out of the 0175 account for a couple of devices that we purchased for our truck inspections. So we bought a couple of tablets. So we've talked about in previous meetings where we wanted to move from the paper truck inspections to the electronic. So we're piloting this stuff right now. So Claudio has been able to make the sheets with the vendor that we already work with. And that seems to be going reasonably well. The guys are starting to embrace it a little bit more. That'll help us eliminate doing the paper stuff. Community feedback. Of course, we got some really good feedback from the Learn to Fish organizers. They were really happy with the amount of people that we brought and the information that we give. And then, of course, the Mrs. Roper's ladies, they were really happy that we gave them a break doing the car wash. And then, of course, the cereal challenge with the End of the Good Shepherd and Bridgeview School. So we got a letter from them as well. On the upcoming events, I guess we're a little overextended on this one, but the SADS exercise, so that happened last Thursday. That was a big event for us. It's probably been, I was trying to think back the last time that we had it in Point Everett and trying to work the numbers. It's been at least, thinking it's been 15 to 18 years.
I can't ever remember it.
Yeah, the last one was on the Blue Water Bridge, and
Oh, yeah.
it was when John Finch was the deputy.
Yeah,
So that's going
long
back.
time ago.
Yeah, I think it's 18 years. So this was a big event for us. And you know, there was a lot of stress involved in that event before and during. So, but it did go well in all accounts. I mean, we did come away with some identified some learnings and the stuff that we can do, and hopefully in the future there'll be some more opportunity for us to work with industry, because it's not something that we do often. Basically never. So
Yeah.
if we can jump in on, because they have some training that would be good for us to get involved in. And sometimes they have access to you know, training courses where they have empty seats, and you know, maybe we can jump on a seat with them for little or no cost.
How can you get involved with that?
We've kind of left that with Trevor from Basis. He's going to kind of spearhead that and see if, because he has a direct connection to industry. So now that he, you know, he's got us in the mix, and you know, he's going to try to keep us in the loop with that kind of stuff. So
Several industry leaders sit on the board of ACES,
Mhm.
Imperial, Nova, there's like several of them.
so yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then the village exercise, you guys participated in that, so that was the same day. So on Friday, we went to Sarnie Golf and Curling Club, and we participated in their annual fire drill. They have a new young lady that's in charge of their health and safety. So we worked with her a little bit beforehand and during the fire drill, so they're up to speed. The OPP torch run, it's just kind of a thing where we put the trucks out on the apron and light up the trucks as the run goes by. So that happened on Friday as well. We've got a Working at Heights course coming up on Thursday. We're participating in some fire drills at Bridgeview. So we did one yesterday, and when we leave here, we're gonna go do another one. And we have our surf and turf event where we help support the End of the Good Shepherd, where we go in and we sell tickets for some of the door prizes, and they like our staff to go there because some of them their salesmanship is pretty good. They're basically relentless, so.
They work for free.
And yeah. So that'll happen on Thursday night. And that's like a 4:30 till 9 o'clock event for us. And then we've got a bunch of school tours, year-end school tours. They're starting to filter in. We've got some on the 17th and on the 18th as well. And then we've got the Point Edward Canada Day event on the 25th that we'll have one of our trucks down there with some staff. And then as far as the closing comments, we did have some members attend the CANU Tech update. So the CANU Tech is the emergency response book, and some of the updates they did a webinar on to bring us up to speed on that, which was kind of helpful being that we were going into hazardous material response exercise within a month, so that worked out well. The OAFC did their spring town hall meeting. So it's a Zoom meeting, but they kind of bring us up to speed on what the OAFC is doing and what their goals are in the next 12 months. Attended a meeting with Lambton EMS regarding their new MPDS medical priority dispatch system software that will be implemented coming this November. So that changes a few things for us on the fire side and responses and how that's going to look. So we're still working that out. We have to meet with Lynn from Lambton EMS here in the next little while and figure out what the run cards are going to look like. And that's why I've been asking to see what we had for the tiered response agreements.
But we never got our own agreement.
Okay, yeah,
And
they didn't have anything signed and,
No, I went back and talked to Stephen, and that's what I remembered. but
okay,
Sarnia signed it.
Okay.
And then we used the same dispatch, so I assume we were following it.
Can you
Yeah.
fill me in a little bit? So we're tiered, like, we don't have a contract for dispatch?
no,
No, it's not about dispatch.
it's about how we're tiered
Yeah.
for medical response. So how we work along with EMS.
Process,
And,
who goes.
right, and so we just, it's just kind of like a common understanding, there's not like a,
Well, there's a written agreement with Sarnia and we basically just follow the same protocol as Sarnia. So vital signs absent, uncontrolled bleed, chest pains, they've kind of taken out, choking, seizures, motor vehicle accidents with injuries, that kind of stuff. So it's all laid out that way. And the new MPDS system, from what I understand, they're gonna have EMS is going to too many code 4s, lights and siren calls that aren't necessary. So their new system is gonna break it down into these run cards, and they have specific questions that they're gonna ask to see what the priority is. So for us, we're still gonna do the vital signs absent calls. We're still gonna do the seizures, the choking, the uncontrollable bleeds. But the uncontrollable bleed, somebody could call 911 and say that they've got a nosebleed that won't stop. That fits the uncontrollable bleed, but that doesn't warrant a code 4 response. So we wouldn't get dispatched to that. But if there was an amputation with an uncontrollable bleed, then we would get dispatched tiered to that. So it's going to be a learning curve on EMS's side. They use this software all over North America and it works well. So I don't foresee it being that big of an issue.
were there any known challenges that were consistent?
It was boundary issues. So EMS wants to go to this many calls, fire wants to go to this many calls. And they had to come to agreement on who goes when.
Okay.
And it took a long time to make an agreement. Like, how many years ago? 3?
Well, there's been, yeah, that was 2022, I believe.
Like, this, they're all trained up and our fire's all trained up and
Yeah.
everybody wants to go to a call, but they wanted to manage who goes to a call.
Mhm.
And the other tricky thing was, because I remember sitting through a meeting where they were trying to get us to agree, like the village to agree to certain protocol. And I said, that doesn't fit for us because we're a small community. We can be there faster than an ambulance.
Mhm.
So we can't, like, we weren't agreeing to go abide by that when it didn't fit
Sure.
our small community. So that all kind of ended up finally calming down, settling, and the agreement was sent to the city and they signed it.
So Sarnia still goes to chest pains, but they do a non-emerge response to chest pains. And that doesn't fit really with how the volunteer service works. We don't want to be calling people away from their jobs and responding and then not being able to be useful.
Yeah.
We want to go to calls where we're going to be helpful and useful. There's just that fine
And
balance.
that's why there's that.
There's a fine
Yeah.
balance. So EMS is willing, they're willing to talk and they're willing to work with us. And so I don't see any issues. It's just going to be different how it's going to be responded out. So when you call 911 after November, there's gonna be a lot of new questions being asked of the caller. You know, so your call time might be longer. It's not gonna stop the response because they'll still do the pre-alerts and that kind of stuff. So,
So if you run into issues in some way, who's your point of contact with EMS or whoever it is that you're communicating with?
so
Or I guess, do you have a,
I-
like a person that you can go to?
yeah, so I can either go to Lynn, who is kind of like, it's kind of like their deputy. So I can communicate with her, which I have. I guess if we got into a disagreement of some sort, I would probably call Jim. And then Jim and I, would probably call Steven
It's the fan.
and Stefan, and then we would, kind of go that route.
But more so if there's something that's just not quite working that you guys can discuss and hash out.
Yeah, right now
within
that's,
the Lines, you have the person that you can talk to.
yeah, right now that would
Right?
be Lynn for me. So, and she's open to discussion. and
Yeah,
I've
that's
had-
great, cause
yeah.
if it's so new, sometimes just those little conversations are a lot better at figuring those things out, how to fix those than the more bureaucratic process before you figure out how
Yeah.
to do it.
And I've had some good conversations with Lynn about, where we want to be helpful and useful. And we don't want to be calling our staff away to, calls that we're just gonna show up and then they're gonna clear us right away. So, so there's that fine balance. So
Thanks for help with
it'll
that.
be interesting to see where we're going to go. I think it'll be fine. Just might have to work the kinks out of here and there.
Always, but that's how you get progress.
Yeah. So we did, the volunteer first half pay. So they were glad to get that. The basement update. So I've been waiting on additional quotes for heat pump units and, yeah. So we're getting there. And then I've been trying to work with a local supplier for flooring, to see if we can keep it local and keep the cost down. So we're getting there on that too. Attended a meeting, the Lambton County Fire Prevention meeting that was held out in Don Euphemia. We attended the Lambton County Fire Chiefs Association meeting, which was held in Sarnia. The discussion on the wide loads for Venetian, so I had that as a discussion point. We encountered a number of times where we've gone down Venetian and these wide loads come in and then they shut off our gate 8 to get onto the plaza, but what they also do is they cut off our access down Venetian. That's a main artery for us for the hotels. And just the positioning of gate 8, where they come in, cuts off our hotels for us. So if we don't know that they're coming, it could be problematic. So we did run into it on Friday night, last Friday night, not the one that just passed, the one before, where we had a response to the condos, and Venetian was blocked off. It didn't inhibit our response because we were going to the condos, but if we had gone any
Yeah.
farther, it would have been a problem. And normally they're pretty quick. They're like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes getting in the gate, because they're these big super loads. And I don't know why so many increased super loads are coming through, but they are. So tried a couple of different avenues. We talked to the county. The county said, we only get a 1 to 3 day window, so we don't really know when they're coming, but they are permitted. Jim spoke to the Blue Water Bridge, who in turn reached out to me, and asked me what I wanted. So I asked them if their SOC can notify us when the loads are coming in. So they've tried their best. They ended up doing it on the weekend. They called me in the morning and said we're supposed to have one at 4 and one at 7. And then he called at 2 o'clock and he said, the load's here. So even the people that are
Yeah.
doing the loads are having trouble, but the SOC was able.
Good.
Yeah.
And they give you an idea,
At least
and then they give you the specific. That's fantastic.
he followed up.
He did follow up,
Mhm.
which was great. So he followed the young fella in SOC called me and said, listen, I got a load here right now, which is perfect for me because then I can, if we had a call within that next half hour, then I would be able to tell the trucks, okay, we're going the other route
Mhm.
instead of this route.
I think you'll probably see that the variance is similar across the board over time. Like they might say between 4 and 7 and then come at 2, if it's like
Like a
within.
vendor, like
Right.
the bell, we're coming between.
So if you know that they're supposed to be coming between
Yeah.
4 and 7,
Yeah.
you're just not gonna take that route
Yeah.
from 12 to
Yeah.
whenever they're done. kind
Yeah,
of thing.
so, and then Sock followed up after that and, he let me know when they were done.
What is SOC?
That's their operations, I know we're not supposed to use the acronyms. That's their security,
You just have to tell me one.
The operations center at the bridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
so it's their security office,
They built near Veterans Park. It's a 24.
Security Office Center,
yeah, security office.
whether it is or it isn't.
I think it is security office.
It's a 24-hour.
So they can
Okay.
control everything on the plaza. So now depending on if we don't go to our regular emergency response gate, if we go to another gate, it's them who opens up the gates for us. So they have cameras all over the plaza and they've got quite a center up there.
One more question about that. I would like to know whether it's that specific person that you talk to that's just got it in his mind to call you every time, or whether it's everyone who's in that position knows to reach
Um,
out to the village.
So I spoke to Carrie Lippington, who looks after that division, and she said that they would put it in their notes for any super load. So I'm assuming that it's anybody who's sitting in the chair will know.
Fantastic.
The other
Yeah.
piece of information about it, you asked why there's so many loads recently.
Mhm.
So Joe told us they're decommissioning some plant. He didn't say where, I don't think. But it's in Ontario somewhere. They're decommissioning a plant and moving it to the States somewhere. And so there are a number of large vessels, whatever.
Yeah.
And so he expects the number to go down
Okay.
before too long.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So the super load on Saturday, I guess it got stuck, and it took them just under an hour to get it off the road. So Venetian would have been shut down for
Wow.
about an hour.
Wow.
So. And they don't expect that to be a common occurrence, but these loads are so large. Like if you drive by Venetian, you can see them sitting in the center of the plaza, like they're,
So when the
Two-
road is closed for that sort of a reason, is Mike also alerting, like using that system to alert that there's a road closure? where
We don't
possible?
know.
If we do know that?
If we did know, we could.
Because
do
if we're
something
gonna
about it.
know, maybe
So-
they don't just let,
it's a police escorted
okay, so
convoy as well. So
just curious, because I know we talked about how that notification system, the reason for it is so that everybody can get it and it doesn't have to be pre-planned and
Yeah.
it can be fast, like when we had the emergency closures.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If we know, we should. If that fits it,
I wonder if they can do it.
possibly.
Well, you would think the police would have a responsibility to do it.
But if they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Can we get them to do it or could we be doing it just so that
Okay.
our residents or even just for tourism purposes?
Well, more for emergency response. I mean.
Well,
if-
absolutely. We've got that part, like he's gonna know.
Yeah.
He's
But
gonna know.
You'll
but
be the
if
first to know
EMS
if
gonna
someone
know?
knows,
Like EMS might not know.
right?
Police should know because they're sitting there, but.
Mhm. But someone might not
which
have thought
police?
about
Yeah,
being the one to let someone know.
Yeah.
Because
No,
there's so
it's
many
good.
different organizations involved that the communication, the bystander effect.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it. They're probably gonna do it.
yeah, we can definitely, I think it's a good point to have a conversation about that and
What is that alert system called? Is that the
it's, I
211?
think it's the 5, isn't it 5? I think it's 5
Ontario 501.
Would that be a good, the proper use of that?
Depends on the duration of that closure.
Mhm.
If it's a 15-minute closure, I think
If we don't know how long though, right?
Yeah.
We never know if it's gonna be 15 or an hour.
the challenge is gonna be making sure someone notifies you when it's reopened.
Mhm.
Cause they'll tell you, oh yeah, we're coming in, the road's closed, but then they'll drive away and forget to tell Mike or whoever.
Mhm.
And now that road's closed for days because someone forgot to take it off. So as long as we have a
Mhm.
process in place to make sure that that information comes, then I think it's a good idea, because we think it uploads to Google Maps and
Mhm.
Apple Maps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. and just reroads, especially if people are just coming off the bridge and
Right.
coming into Point Edward. And the
That,
first thing they do is run into something like that.
if they're going to a hotel and Google Maps can tell them to go.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
East versus west, and saves them time and heartache.
Mhm.
So maybe.
I
we
think it's a
might
really
get
good
one,
conversation to have.
See what he thinks about process as well, because he typically is the one that deals with the.
Yeah. I think ideally,
It
if
wouldn't
it's
be-
gonna happen, it would be someone at the bridge doing it. Cause I mean. By the time they reach out to Mike, Mike's out cutting his grass on
Oh, yeah.
a Saturday after, so it'd be better if they can, but we can
Yeah.
have the conversation, and see
Mm-hmm.
what solution we can come up with.
Somebody from that ops center, because they're 24 hours.
That's
They're open 24 hours.
Yeah, and it seems like they're pretty responsive to that sort of
Mhm.
conversation, so if
Yep.
where possible, yeah, absolutely not having it be something that's on our plate, as long as we know that there's a process in place.
Yeah.
If there's not an actual process in place, then I do think that's something we should consider taking over if we have to be the ones.
And it might be a short-lived thing, like if these
Yeah.
super loads are gonna, subside, then they might only have 5 a year versus they've had,
Now, until
They-
another plant or.
yeah, they've had 10 in the last, couple, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and most of them I think are pretty decent, but I know a couple of them have got caught up because of the loads are so large and the way the wheels articulate on these trailers and stuff, they get so close to the fences and
Mhm.
it's tough for these guys to get in, so they end up having to, they're talking about inches of movement versus, feet.
Mhm. Okay.
I just want to put a thank you out to Jay for allowing us to use his facility, so he's been really good about that and letting us in there after hours and doing our thing. Well, we already talked about the transition from the paperwork, the weekly paperwork to a digital version, so we're going down that road. I briefly mentioned that so that was the bunker gear. So we did have some company come in and measure up some of our staff for station wear. So we're
I don't
trying
know what station we're is.
this kind of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I figured that.
Yeah.
Like uniforms.
So we try to get everybody to a similar level, so that when we go to events and different training events, that we look the same. We're not kind of mismatching everybody with bringing their own stuff and that kind of stuff. So, and then Claudio, he's been working hard, working on his 1041, and he's going to be starting his 1021 here very shortly. So, I don't know, Claudio, if you want to tell him what 1041 is and
Because if not, I'm
1021.
gonna ask.
So the 1041, which one I just finished, is the fire instructor course.
Fantastic.
So we did the practical portion. There's always a practical and a written test. The
Mhm.
written test is the end of May for that one.
Was end of May?
Or sorry, June, end of June.
Mhm.
June 28th. So I'm studying for that one, and then 1021 is the officer one course. That starts Thursday out in Corona, so it's Thursday night, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday night, Saturday. And then the exam will be the same day, June 28th, so there'll be 2 tests that day to take and.
Yeah. Get them all out of the way.
Exactly, I get them all done and be over with them, but yeah.
That's fantastic.
Corona's hosting those and have obliged us to allow me to join in, which is nice of them.
Who's teaching it? Is somebody from the fire marshal's office?
No, so they have their instructors from St. Clair
Oh,
that
cool.
are doing them. Yep. So they're all vetted and approved instructors through the fire marshal's office, so
Okay.
they can provide those courses and do the testing and all that good stuff, sign off on all the practical skills and. Yeah, just getting us closer to where we need to be for our compliance with training and all that good stuff that's coming up here in the month, beginning of July.
Thank you. That's incredible. Happy to hear that.
Thanks.
And yeah, I guess the only other thing we briefly talked about is Jim's got some pictures from the exercise. So you guys didn't have the luxury of seeing what we were seeing and what we had going on. So Trevor did stop in yesterday and just kind of give us a brief rundown on the exercise and what his thoughts were. And he was happy with the outcome. So that was good to hear. So the community hall was set up as a pre-staging observatory for some of the industry leaders. So this was us getting ready. This was doing our pre-safety talk before the actual exercise. That's Trevor up at the front, kind of just doing his thing and kind of giving a brief rundown on what the morning's events were going to look like. So we did have industry partners from Nova, Sun, Imperial, Arlanxeo,
CF.
CF, Sarnia, Fire, were all in attendance for the responders. As far as the observatory room after that, I guess that was industry leaders. It would have been probably some other political leaders. You guys were busy at doing our exercise, but
Different ministries are there too.
yeah, the Ministry of Environment was there, Public Health was there.
Oh, yeah, look, I saw Olivia from the county as well.
So the drone footage doesn't come through, but this is in the command bus. So St. Clair Fire had 2 drones in the air. And they were kind of recording the whole event as it unfolded. I don't know if there's another
So
one.
that's the row of trees,
That's a row of trees.
and then this is where the incident's taking place.
So the one side, the side that's closest to us is where the command bus is set up. The other side of the parking lot is, you can see the tanker outline. I think there's one that's a little bit clearer, Jim. There you go. So the command bus is on the casino parking lot side. The overflow is a tanker truck that was brought in, flipped over. You can see some smoke. So they had a smoke machine and some product leaking out of that. So we responded in, did our initial size up, tried to determine what the product was. There was no placarding on the truck. So we were able to find the driver, get some paperwork, and then do our initial response from there. So we brought in a pump and a rescue, and set up. We caught a hydrant at the north end of the parking lot. We dropped probably 300 or 400 feet of supply line and took off our suppression lines. We had a couple of crews that started with vapor suppression. We get on the phone with Spills Action. Spills Action recommended that we don't do vapor suppression if possible, but to use foam. So then we called in Nova with their foam truck. Nova came in, and instead of catching a different hydrant, our truck supplied water to them. So we dropped another 600 feet of 2.5, tied into their trucks, and then they pulled all their hand lines. So lots of work from our staff. You can see our rescues at the very back. The truck in front of it is the pump. You can see the supply line come in to our truck, and then the Nova pumpers beside us. So we ran 3 2.5s to them, and then they set up some vapor suppression with some foam. So yeah, all in all, a lot of work went into the exercise, and a lot of moving parts and a lot of players. Richard Boyce from St. Clair Fire and Jeff Weber from Sarnia Fire, along with Tracy Cruel, completed the commentary because there was no sound. So they were feeding the drones images back to the community hall, which allowed the member stakeholders to kind of see what was going on real time. So
Rick, if that was a real scenario, wouldn't there be charges laid on that tanker because that placard has to be there?
oh yeah. Yeah, if that was a real scenario, there'd been a whole bunch of charges.
Yeah,
But-
well, I thought I heard them say the placard's on the truck.
So there was a placard on the
They were
truck
trying to figure out, yeah.
eventually. We couldn't see it. It was
Okay.
on, it was on the flip down side.
Wow,
No?
one of the guys had it, he held it up and showed me, and then he put it away.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't actually affixed to the truck anymore.
Oh,
He
okay,
started
I didn't-
tapping it and get my attention with it, so.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it wasn't,
So that's Gary and his son from Preferred Towing, who who brought in the tanker truck and flipped it
Okay.
over and. Yeah, so they got special recognition for
Cool.
doing all that work, so. Yeah,
Oh,
so
That's the after.
that's the after action report.
I thought there was a picture of our firefighter getting his award, but I thought it was there yesterday, but.
Yeah, so one of our retired members, he volunteers with Basis, so he got recognized because he had put a lot of extra effort in with Basis for this and for EP Day. Terry put in a lot of
He's not
extra.
with the department anymore.
No, Terry retired about 7.
Yeah, he comes out sometimes for stuff,
Yeah, I know.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry
He
comes.
stayed-
Helps out quite a bit.
He stayed as a special friend.
Yeah, so Terry comes out whenever, he likes to do the pub ed stuff as well, so he likes to come out and join in, and so, yeah.
You like those kind of volunteers.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
To retire and still come back.
Yeah. So other than that, that's kind of the wrap up for us. We're gonna head over to Bridgeview School for a fire drill, and then I get to go sit at Paso this afternoon with 3,000 of my best friends, and my daughter's graduating today, so.
Congratulations.
oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
got invited, but I couldn't go because it's committee day.
Unless anybody's got any,
No.
No.
Okay. Well,
No, again, thanks for everything that you did for that emergency management exercise. It was good publicity for the village, and I think we showed up well. A lot of positives, that just is what I heard, so anytime that we can show what we have, it's great.
fantastic. Okay, we can move on to the review of the financial statements for the period ending in May 31st, 2026. Did you have any
I
questions?
had one, and I think I have the answer, but I'm gonna ask the question.
Mhm.
It's on the weekends. Is that 180? Was that something that needs to be transitioned? Did we talk about that before? Something that's been charged
To the wrong account,
to the wrong account?
I'm sure, because there's
is that?
It's the fourth one down,
yeah, so like,
because this was for the end of
Mhm.
May, and we're at
Oh, yeah.
180.
For
But I
the,
think I'd heard that it was,
yeah, I think,
something needs to be separated out.
so the volunteer. The stipends pay must have got added in.
Yeah, I think just,
Point base at 0 out.
Yeah, point pays at 0 out. so-
okay, so it's a transition thing, so as long as Jane's aware to sort it.
yeah, that's exactly what the point pay would have got put into the weekend pay.
Yeah.
Because of 90,000,
Works.
which,
How the point pay got included in that, or like.
that's
what
a
the
very
transition-
good,
Okay, so it's not like because it hadn't been, just,
yeah, so like Shelley processes the pay. And then Jane or Sherry, I'm not sure which one, charges it to a certain account. And they charged it to the weekend account rather than the point pay account. So they'll have to go and do a journal entry to reverse it basically and put it to the right account.
okay, so then, will we get the updated financial report with the right number?
What
in that?
you will probably, it will be for the next month, that'll be
Yeah.
correct for sure. It probably will be even corrected for the council meeting.
So then when we are going through this,
Mhm.
obviously that number's inaccurate, so we're not saying we wanna receive and file so that we can approve it, right?
Well, I mean, it's a snapshot in time. So at the time this statement was printed, it's accurate. It's not correct,
Mhm.
but it is accurate.
Can we make a note of that in the
Yep.
minutes?
But,
Because if someone else goes to look at this specific one, they're not gonna know that.
but I think it's what comes out for the council meeting is the corrected. And
And that's what I was
Version.
asking, if we're
Yeah.
gonna have the corrected one before
Yeah,
that.
I would imagine, because Jane doesn't like having inaccuracies like this. And
No.
I mean,
Of course.
it's an easy thing to do to, you know,
Sure, there's
so,
lots of
Yeah.
numbers.
I would expect that she will probably have it fixed probably by the end of the day, I would guess. But yeah, we can make a note
Yeah.
and make sure that
Yeah,
it's.
it's
then
just
when- yeah.
if one village resident just opens specifically this and looks at exactly that line, they're gonna go, why are we spending so much? And it's not actually an issue that needs to come up. Not that that is gonna happen, but it could.
I don't ever remember it happening, but
Yeah.
it could.
Just
And
wait,
it's-
right, now that I've said it,
But
Yeah.
now, but you know what the answer is, and it's a. it will
we
be
know what the
fixed.
answer is.
So when we go to the council meeting, we're gonna approve the minutes. And it'll be the revised version.
As long as it's the revised
Yeah.
version.
I think it happened last year by accident as
Yeah.
well.
I think that's why I knew, because I heard about this before. So it's just.
Yeah, I think last
That was the answer.
year.
And sorry, did you say that Jane does that or Sherry does that?
Yes. Jane or Sherry do that.
Jane would be the fix.
Jane is who I'm gonna send an email to
Yeah.
and ask her
And
to
then
make sure
she
it
can
gets
decide
corrected.
who-
Yeah,
how it gets done.
exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you. Okay. The next meeting date for the fire committee will be held on July 14th, 2026 at 8:45 a.m. And we may adjourn.
These meetings seem to come really fast. I don't know if anybody else.
Well,
feels that way.
that's what happened to me when Jim started sending out the notices last Thursday, whatever, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
I went, we just did that.
And I think having the